is go back. What we're gonna do right here is go back. Go back, go back, go back, go back, go back, go back, way back.
Right, and welcome back to Kumasao Reviews. What we're reviewing today is Bandai Tamashii, their Chogokin, King Mickey and Friends. This is actually a mecha-style combiner robot, with each of them being individual robots combining to form one big robot. So pretty cool. Kind of out of nowhere, but just neat. So alright, taking a look at the box here. We have the Gestalt form on the front. Bottom of the box, just a cartoon picture of them. Alright. And it says Chogokin, Chogogattai, KingRobot, Mickey and Friends. Alright. Picture of Mickey himself. And the ideal is that these aren't the actual characters, these robots, they're actually piloted by the characters. Alright. And you have a couple of, on the back, individual shots of each of the robots, as well as kind of a combining piece here of how they all form together. And just a laid out view of each of the different characters on the back. Alright, and you'll notice that we switched backgrounds here because the white on the white spots on these characters, which there are quite a few of, just offset too poorly. So okay, we're going to do this review a little bit different. There aren't going to be separate chapters for each character or anything like that. They're very simple. We're just going to go ahead and run right through this. Alright, so what you get in the box, you've got Robo Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Pluto, Goofy. You've got Pluto's Playhouse or Doghouse, and a couple of extra hands for the combined form. So we'll put some of this extra business out of the way, just so you can see that, how that looks, and you see the Mickey style scepter there. Alright. So, taking a look at the individual characters here, get some of these out of the way. And what we're going to do, we're going to look over each character, and then we're going to go ahead and transform it. At the end, we'll combine. So looking at Mickey here, so overall, pretty cool stuff. Definitely mini robots and stuff like that. Good times. For each of these characters, I'm going to zoom into the face here. There's actually a switch in the back. Okay? And when you flip that switch around, you actually, let me switch it all the way, it actually reveals the pilot version of each of the individual characters. So you'll see right there, there's Mickey piloting the robot. Just like the ideal on the box gets across. Each of these do that, so I don't really need to show each individual one. But alright, taking a look at Mickey here and his posability. Alright. He does have head swivel, up and down movement. Alright, his arms, rotation at the shoulders here. Alright, his hands definitely do rotate. Okay, actually I'm going to take some light off because that's just annoying. Okay, some swing in the feet. Alright, definite swivel and, you know, ball jointed feet. So, pretty balanced character. Fairly posable. You know, simple, but yeah, it's movable for what it's worth. Looking at the size of these characters, though, Mickey is about 3 3/4 inches tall. So, definitely on the smaller side there. There is die-cast throughout each of these figures. Mickey definitely has it on his chest plate here. And outside of that, not really too crazy much. Because, I mean, even these are plastic. Not anything in the legs, you know. Like, there's some die cast on each character, but not really much. Alright, so there's Mickey. I'll give you Donald and Daisy right now. Reason being is because they are pretty much the exact same. They're a remold of each other. They actually form the arms. Alright. Okay. And I'll just use one of them as an example here. Alright. Shoulder swing up and down. They are on ball joints, but the shoulder pads on each of these blocks them from really moving out too much. They do have waist swivel. And I forgot to say, Mickey does have waist swivel as well. Alright. And as for their legs, there's no individual movement. The feet can move up and down, but they swing on a big rocker. So, kind of what you see is what you get with these guys. Alright? But I definitely do like the look of them. They're probably my two favorite. Okay. Looking at Minnie here. Just an overall look. Big backpack on the back. Definitely used in the transformation, but I don't know. It's kind of excusable because of the fact that it's a big robot. Alright, and she's got the big rocket pack type things on her arms. Ball jointed shoulders, so good range of motion there. Alright. Good movement in the wrist. Nice ball jointed head here. You can see a lot of movement there. No swivel in the waist. But she does have ball jointed thighs. And swivel there. No articulation in the feet though. Alright. So there's Minnie. And my least favorite out of these is Goofy. Alright. You can definitely feel his die cast more in this waist area and stuff like that. Now, he kind of is what he is. I wish his mouth moved. That'd be pretty neat. But his legs and feet are just something else. They're just permanently bent, and then he's just got these big, huge feet that are just there. It's very weird. This is a very strange one. He does have a lot of movement in the arms, though, in terms of swing. Alright. Just like Donald and Daffy, not too much. And out. And a ball jointed head. Now, he's the tallest of the group. It's kind of hard to give him a real measurement because his knees and feet weigh him down so much. Alright. And he's just under 6 inches. That's the tallest. Okay. Now, probably the most posable of them all is Pluto. Alright. So, giving you a closer look there. And in my opinion, it's just really neat how this one came out. Very good representation of this dog here. Oops. Alright, so there's that. While I go ahead and pick my light up here. Alright. There's Pluto. He does have a wagging tail. His head has some up and down swing, as well as a ball joint on the where the head meets the neck itself. His ears, his and Goofy's both, swing up and down. Alright, so no knee movement here or feet in the front, but the legs themselves swing in and out. Now in the back, no knee movement, but the feet do have some posability. And this area swings, up to give them some more stability there. But yeah, overall good stuff. Alright. And we went over Pluto's house. I'll zoom out some here. It's got the scepter attached. Because of the way the bottom is, there's like stuff on the bottom, but then There's nothing on the whole other half of the house. It's really not well balanced. I think it would have been smarter if they put the clip for the scepter on the other side here. But they didn't, so just kind of got a deal. Mostly plastic in here, pretty much all plastic actually. Alright, and let's go ahead and start getting this thing transformed. Alright, so the first one we're going to go ahead and get transformed here is Donald. I'm going to start by swinging his head backwards, swinging his arms up. His forearms bend in like so. Kind of like he's covering up, beating his chest, whatever you want to call it. Alright. Then we just take that, fold it up like so. Okay. This whole part here actually folds up. Alright. So we got that. Then this bottom half turns around. The feet, I'm going to put those backwards, as well as taking the fist in here, and they're on a kind of a platform that just swings forward and clicks in place, and from there we have the arm. Now there's a joint here that you want to pull out. That's where it's going to connect into the shoulder, but there's one arm. We'll take the same thing, run through it with Daisy, hands up, and I like that it is a pretty straightforward transformation. Not too much BS to it. Okay. Alright, and then just same deal, like this, and see, you have the two arms there, so we'll put those aside. Alright, now, next, we will go ahead and do Goofy. Alright, just turn his head up and around like so. Kind of get his feet together there. Alright, so and then his upper body just turns up like that. Okay. Now these feet, they're actually on pivots. I just go forward like so, and then there are rails on each side of the arm. They just clip in or peg into little pegs on the sides there. So okay. We now have a leg. Good old King Mickey. Now, with Pluto, just put his head down, swing his feet back. Now, this part moves up, and when you move it up, move the tail into this spot here. Kind of acts as a guard. And then his feet, make sure to put his head up. You just put around like so. So there's a foot for King Mickey. Alright. Now we've just got a couple more bots to go. Start with removing the scepter. That's a pretty obvious weapon. Now we'll go ahead and form a shield. Alright, so these two things flip up, that separates, okay, like so, and then this whole clip here deattaches. You can see where it goes right there. Alright, so finish the shield off. Just do that. It's pretty cool, mirror, mirror, and flip the handle down. Alright, so we'll put that to the side. Now for this part, you've got this left. You swing this out, clip it in, swing it around. Alright? And there you go. Swing that part down. Okay? And we've actually got a leg for Pluto. Okay? But first, we've got to take this part, swing it down, and around. Alright? And it just slides in on the back, like so. Okay? Alright? And we might as well just clip Goofy in too. Okay? So there's that. Alright. Now the final two of the main combiner team. We'll start with Minnie. We're just going to put our arms up, flip her skirt up. Okay. Her legs actually extend out. And don't extend them any farther than they feel like they should. Okay? That's one tip I have. Alright, so there's that. Now, these two leg parts, they actually go out like so. Did you see that? And out. Okay? Now her backpack, we're going to put that up a little bit. Swing this part down, part in the back there. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to, there are clips on the side there. You just take those extended leg pieces, clip them in, alright, and then raise the whole thing up. Alright, so you have something like so. Alright, make sure the arms are down, all that good stuff. Now the legs, you're going to swing them out like this. Alright, see that? And then the legs actually fold in half and up. Alright. So that's what you got with her. Now, Mickey. Put these up first. Swing his arms back. Put his fist downwards, like that. Arms back, fist downwards. Alright. His shoulders slide down and then forward. Not too hard to get them down. Alright, so. And then you kind of put the shield down as guards. See that? Okay. Now, the head goes up. Swing it around. Move it forward. Now the whole thing now, you just bring around like that. Okay? Now on this end, alright, so we're taking these pieces out here on the butt, and then this whole like crotch piece swings forward. Okay? Alright, so alright. So there's that part. Extend it out. Okay. So now you've got that. And he has clips on the sides of his arm. You got to make sure those are out to the side. Let me zoom in on that so you can see those clips. They have to be out. And they're not too hard. If they're not out when you first do it, you don't have to completely retransform everything or anything like that. You didn't mess up. So, and then these legs just clip into the side. Like so. Clip into the side, like so. And it's a really, really easy clip. Crazy easy even. Okay. So now we've got Mickey transformed. Okay. Now, if only I could find my Steamboat Willie. Okay. Alright, so the Steamboat Willie. Pretty straightforward. Alright, so fold the front in half, and then flip the face out, and boom. You've got the head. Alright, now getting this together here, we already have the two arms, so we're going to move away from that. We'll work on getting Minnie combined with Mickey here. Alright. There are pegs right here and on the back of Mickey's head, and you're just going to peg them in correspondingly. So, really not too bad. When you have it in hand, it's not hard to get the visual for what's going on here. But I am going to have to, I can't really do it on camera since it's so dark. Mickey being black and then the holes for the pegs. Alright, so we got that. Got the head pegged in. Okay. And what you'll see is that you get something kind of like so. And, alright, I have to zoom in here. I actually have to get some light on this guy. Alright, you'll see here there are two pegs on Minnie's backpack, and the feet have two holes in them. They peg in pretty straightforward. I mean, boom, and boom. Okay? So they peg in pretty straightforward, and when you're taking this thing apart, I just wiggle each side out. Watch out, because there have been a couple of people, actually reviewers and stuff like that online, who have reported breakage even today. So just be careful with that, you know. It can happen to anybody, but at the same time, hopefully it doesn't happen to you, and I hope that little tidbit there helps. So, okay, here's that. And now that we've got those two together, we can actually go about pegging this in up top. Alright, so it just pegs like so. Move the camera up some. Alright, we'll actually just go ahead. This piece right here, the head just clips into the top there. It has grooves that let you know exactly how to fit it on. Alright, so getting some balance there with the feet. Alright, and the two hands, or the two arms, just peg into these here. Alright, so boom, boom, and now we have ourselves Chogogattai, King Mickey, in combined form. And alright, here we have it. I want to go ahead and get a good zoom in so you can see the detailing on this guy. Alright, so that's the face. There's Mickey. Alright, 2 feet there. And actually give you guys a more rotated view. Alright, you'll see Minnie on the back there. Peg Goofy's arms in again. Alright. Now, off the bat, the first thing that kind of disappointed me was how small he is, even in combined form. I'm used to, you know, Soul of Chogokin toys and things like that from Bandai Tamashii, which are a bit bigger, between, you know, 10, 12 inches, things like that. But in combined form, he's not small, at around 8.5, 9 inches. But the overall just impression that you get from this guy, especially when the promotional photography was shot at those downward angles that really make him look massive, you know, is that this thing isn't really that big at all. Alright, so going over the posability of him here. His head is ball jointed there, so decent rotation. Alright, his arms are kind of tricky. You can move them in and out, but these pegs are actually held in by friction, so you kind of gotta be careful. You can't move them too far out or else they'll start to come out since they don't officially lock into place. Now these chest pieces do move in, so when you do want to move the arms, I just lost a light, fantastic. When you do want to move the arms, you have space to do it, and see one of my arms just pegged out. And that's not a common occurrence. I don't want it to seem like, you know, oh, they just pop out every time you try to do anything with them. No, it's not like that, but it's definitely not something to where it's a secure lock. It's quite a stark difference. So, I'm putting this guy back into place. And now, of course it does not want to play nice with me. Oh, because it was in sideways. Alright. So there's that. Now, he does have elbow articulation. Wow. That does not look good. Come on, Mickey. Stay in there with me. Alright. And I'll show that. Now this arm just wants to pop off every second. But what you have to do, these circular pieces are actually steel, so you kind of gotta just hold the elbow and move everything around those circular pieces. Alright. Alright. And to give props, I believe his name is Megatroptimus on TFW message boards. He's the one that showed me how to go ahead and get that done. Because I could not, when I first got this, do that for the life of me. Get that arm moved. So, that's cool. And yeah, that is me screwing in a light bulb there. Because that was annoying. Oops. Alright. Actually, I want to give you guys a decent look at the character. Alright, cool. So, alright. So there's that. The legs really don't have any articulation at all. For whatever reason, his right leg here does have swing. It even has bend. The other leg, while that just flies off, has none. And I honestly can't tell you what the deal is with this thing and the falling off of the joints now. I don't get it. What's going on with that arm? Previously, the friction was more than enough, but maybe it's one of those things where the first time you pop that cherry, it just wants to stay loose. But nothing nail polish can't fit it. You know, can't fix. So yeah, overall, not the most posable toy in the world. He's definitely stable. I do like that the front feet move at least, especially on Pluto. Goofy, just the head area there. So, not a ton, but you definitely have some things to where it can help with the stability of it all. Alright. Now, switching out the hand here, or the hands, we'll take a look at how he looks with his weapons. Alright. Alright. These are held on a lock joint, so when you put on the new hands, they're just ball jointed. And you have to push them on, so make sure to stabilize that back platform. There's an arm. There's an arm. Alright, he's armless. Alright. And I'm not going to lie, this is something that definitely could have been engineered quite a bit better. And I don't feel too, you know, out of place saying that. It's one of those things that, you know, This definitely isn't the first Gestalt I've owned from Bandai Tamashii. And I've seen better, god damn it. So, alright. Putting the scepter into a hand here. The bottom just pegs out. And then his shield just pegs in here. Okay. And here you go. There is Bandai Tamashii's. Oops. Oh, the whole ball joint came off. Whoops. That makes sense. Alright. Bandai Tamashii's Chogogattai, King Mickey and Friends. Alright, I'm rounding out my thoughts on the Bandai Tamashii Chogogattai, Chogokin, King Mickey and Friends Combiner robot. Yeah, it's one of those things to where if you're hardcore Disney fans, by all means, this is a great novelty item and a really neat display piece. And Gestalt mode, it's one of those ones where it's so weird looking that it's cool. You know, aesthetically, I love it. The individual robot modes, in my opinion, are the down point of this toy because they're just really non-posable pieces that I wouldn't pay more than, you know, $5, maybe $10 for if I saw them out and about at a store. But the Gestalt mode is really, really neat. The little trinkets like the rotating, revolving eyes to where you could see the individual pilots and stuff like that. It's pretty well thought out. And honestly, even the posability in the Gestalt mode is decent. I wish there was some leg articulation, and honestly, I pretty much have no complaints, even without waist swivel, you know? There are little quirks to it, like the fact that the arms on the Gestalt mode are only held in by friction, and as you saw during the review, they definitely have the tendency to pop out. So, it's hard to recommend this to someone who is a more hardcore collector because, you know, or even a Chogokin or a diecast collector, because for the most part, the diecast is pretty much right in here. Wow. See? God damn it. I just touched them. And on Mickey's crest, there's not a lot of diecast in this figure whatsoever. But at the same time, I'm glad because of the way the joints are that it doesn't have diecast weighing it down too, because the arms would just fall off by themselves even. Alright? But that brings me to the price. Now, US TF Source, I believe it has it for $179.99. You know, it's one of those things to where, unless you're, like I said, a hardcore Disney fan, I just can't recommend it because there's so many great transforming toys that you can buy with $200, whether they be Transformers, whether they be Bandai Tamashii, whether they be, you know, Future, ES Goken line, you know, there are just a lot better things that you can do with $200 than this toy, in my opinion. Now, the argument will be made, hey, at Ami Ami, it was, you know, 10,000 yen or $100 US or whatever. Yeah, maybe, but by the time it ships to you, it's still $150. So, not much different. So, anyway, if you want to buy it, TF Source, $179.99. They do have free shipping over $150. I actually got this shipped priority with the free shipping, so that was pretty cool. But, like I said, it's a nice novelty item, but it's not a toy or a collectible item for people who aren't necessarily Disney fans, more mecha or toy fans, that really warrants the price in my opinion. The high point is definitely the Gestalt mode. I love the look of it. The posability, especially in the upper body, is nice. I wish there was leg posability, but the robot modes are kinda, or individual modes are kinda just there. So, that's my opinion. Sorry that it's not the most positive, but take it for what it's worth. I'm not gonna be dishonest with my thoughts, even though, you know, I would love to be just skinning and grinning about every single thing that I own and I buy, but even my collection has low spots to me, and I gotta say, this is teetering on being one of them. But anyway, this has been another Kumasao review. I'm TJ Duckett, and see you next time.